Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for your attention, Mr. Karwandi. In this time, I will show you about the traditional medicine. We know about traditional medicine from the founding father, our grandpa or our grandma until now. Maybe in the home you use traditional medicine. Start with what is the traditional medicine? The traditional medicine is the treatment of the disease using traditional technique or ingredient and is known as a local wisdom. You know about local wisdom? I think you know. Traditional technique include using massage, pijat, massage technique, and traditional ingredient are using medicinal plants that have been known for their benefits for generation to generation. The traditional technique are used almost every day by the people of Indonesia, including you, including me. Maybe you're tired after you work, you come back to your home, and you ask your wife to massage you. For example, sprains in the ankle are treated by massage. You know sprain, the accident in your ankle. Cold, the cold is masuk angin. Cold are cured by scrubbing using coin and ginger. This is a sprain on the ankle. The treatment the sprain is with massage and cold. You know about scrubbing, krokan, by using coin and ginger. This is coin, old coin. This coin came from Netherlands era. Until now, this coin very exists. And then traditional ingredient is used when someone is sick or injured. For example, diarrhea can be cured with turmeric and guava leaves. Fever or cold can use boiled water, ginger, and eggs. Cough can use lime and honey. This is turmeric and guava leaf. When you use the turmeric or guava leaf to cure diarrhea, the turmeric you have to destroy by the mortal, and then you destroy to guava leaf, and you mix together and add water, and then you have to add some salt. Then you have to drink as soon as possible. Next, cough, you can use lime and honey. The lime water, you can squeeze lime and you squeeze honey, and you mix together, and then you drink as soon as possible. Traditional medicine has a slower effect than modern medicine that use antibiotic synthetic drugs. However, modern medicine has side effects that are unacceptable to society. For example, antibiotic resistance or kidney damage due to the use of large dose of the drug or for a long time. These side effects cause people to prefer traditional treatment that are without side effect and are cheap. Thank you for attention, Mr. Kawandi. Maybe you have any question except that. Okay, please.
Okay, Mr. Budi, that is really very good presentations. So based on your presentations, I'm interested with your topic about traditional medicines. Yeah. So my first question, how make Indonesian like to use traditional medicine? Would you like to tell me more about that?
How make Indonesian like the traditional medicine? As we know, I think we don't have to make Indonesian like the traditional medicine, because the Indonesian is like traditional medicine. They use traditional medicine. Oh, okay. When we talk about the city, medicine in the city, majority that use of drugs, antibiotic or drugs, the synthetic drugs, I mean. But if you see the medicine, if the on your village maybe, in Moreni maybe, the majority the people use the traditional medicine. So I think we don't have to use the Indonesian like the traditional medicine, but the Indonesian is like traditional medicine and use the traditional medicine from past until now. Okay, I think that's it.
Mr. Budi, I agree with you, because it is our traditional medicine, so we have to develop it. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Budi, my second
Okay.
question, can you explain more about the authenticity of
Authenticity.
traditional
Okay.
medicine? Because we have to know the original, yeah? Okay.
Oh, yes, I mean, Ani. Okay, how to test the authenticity of the traditional medicine? The first, you have to traditional medicine from your around about your home, from your garden. I mean, that is test of authenticity of traditional medicine. The first, and the second, maybe this is very a little complicated. You have to bring the medicine to lab to test that's original or not. Maybe the traditional medicine, the compound the traditional medicine, if original compound, but if the traditional medicine is not authentic, I mean that's mixed by another ingredient, the test lab is give you result. The medicine, the traditional medicine, that's it, not good. Maybe the toxic, maybe have a bacteria, maybe they can find make a cancer. That's it. Maybe you can bring to lab, because we know the traditional medicine can find looking around your home. I think that's it, very simple. Divided if we bring to lab.
Okay, I do agree with you, Mr. Budi. Yeah, it is better for us to bring it to the lab to test. Yeah. Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Mr. Budi, for your explanation.
Okay, thank you very much too, Mr. Karwandi. I think the conclusion is, the community's choice, a local wisdom, have made this traditional medicine sustainable from the past until now. I mean, because the traditional medicine is local wisdom of Indonesia, so that's we have to sustainable. We have to save it and don't have be destroyed by the modern era. I mean, thank you for your attention. I hope we have happy any day. We have happy every day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, Mr. Budi.
Morning, Mr. Karwandi.
Okay, today I'm going to present education in Indonesia. Before I present my material, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Karwandi. I am from Lamatang Lestari Junior High School. Okay, today we are talking about education in Indonesia. So let's go to the first slide. So it is about the history, the educations in Indonesia. So educations in Indonesia is all educations held in Indonesia, both structured and unstructured. Structures in Indonesia is responsibility of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia, or Kemendikbud. But now it's changed into Kemendikbud Ristek Dikti, yeah. Okay. Next, we go to the next slide. Is about educational stage. So as we know, there are 4 educational stages happened in Indonesia. The first, early childhood education programs. So it needs 3 years program. And then the second is basic education. It needs 9 years that consists of elementary school and also junior high school. And then the third is middle education, and it needs 3 years time. It is include senior high school and vocational senior high school. And then the last stage is higher education. So it needs that is consists of strata 1 or bachelor. It needs 4 years, is around 4 years. And then strata 2 or a master, it needs is around 2 years. And then a doctor or strata 3, it needs 2 years. So every stage there will be a certificate that show that we have finished the program. So if you want to continue to the basic, to the middle, to the higher, so you have to finish all these stages or all this process. And then the next slide is about educational path. As we know, there are 3 paths education in Indonesia. The first, formal education held by schools. For example, kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, senior and vocational senior high school, even university. Now, this is must followed by student because it is formal education, because it is held by the government. And then the second one is about non-formal education. So in non-formal educations, the organizer is held by the people or private sector. For example, TPA or reading Al-Quran, and then Sunday school for Christian, and then course like English course, mathematics course, and science course. It is held by the people or the private sector, and it is not obligation followed by the student, but they can follow to increase or to improve their skill or talent. And then the last is informal education. Actually, it is helped by family, their parents. For example, how to be a good person, how to be a polite person or a polite children to many people. And this is obligation done by the parents. Yeah. So that we have 3 paths of education. And then the next slides I would like to show you. So it is about curriculum. So all the education, especially formal education, they need curriculum. In order, the process of teaching and learning can be running well. So the curriculum education, there are 2. So the first curriculum 2013, and now the prototype curriculum, or it is famous as freedom learning. But for prototype or freedom learning, it's not all school can apply this curriculum. So the government through Kemendikbudristek give the free or give the chance to some schools to apply this curriculum, prototype curriculum. If they are able to apply this curriculum, so they can continue using this curriculum. But if they would like to apply the old curriculum 2013, I think it's okay, because as we know, our education in Indonesia are not the same. Yeah, there are higher in some place and there are lower in some place. Okay, I think that's all that I can tell you, Mr. Budi. Thank you very much for your attention. I have motto: let's create freedom learning. Teacher moves, Indonesia goes forward. Okay, I think that's all that I can share. I open the next session. is questions. Are there any questions, Mr. Budi?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Karwandi. I like your motto. Let's create
Oh, okay,
freedom learning.
thank you so much.
That is same of the motto of our university, the
Yeah.
campus Merdeka. Okay, the first question. Can you show about the early childhood? Early childhood.
Okay. This one?
Yes, early childhood. In our era, I think my era and your era, nothing early childhood. Childhood is this era. Why need an early childhood, Mr. Karwandi?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your questions, Mr. Budi. I do agree with you that at that time we didn't have early childhood like PG or TK at that time, yeah. So
Yes.
we can directly go to elementary school or SD. But now
Yes. Yes, indeed.
the system of education force us to have early childhood because maybe the developing of the era, yeah, at that time maybe there is no ICT or, for example, internet and technology, and then
Oh,
in this era there are so many challenges faced by the teachers. Maybe that's why the government try to give early childhood education. In other, when they are studying in elementary school, they have basic, they have knowledge before, so they are not really zero skills. For example, they are knowing about numbers, they are knowing about alphabets. So the teachers in elementary school can be easy to teach them because as we know that the challenge in this era, especially in 4.0, yeah, 0, yeah, 4.0
oh yes,
is
4.0.
really high. So we have to do this early childhood education. And I have daughters, and she was from kindergarten. If we compare for the student who didn't study in the kindergarten, is really different. The children or the students who pass from early childhood, it is better knowledge and better experience, Mr. Budi. I think that's all, Mr. Budi.
Okay, that's very complex. That's very
Okay,
clear,
thank you
Mr.
so much.
Karwandi. Thank you for
Okay,
your
Mr.
answer.
You're welcome.
I agree with you. Okay, then the second question. Actually, this is not question. I want to I want you express. I want to you what you can you give to Indonesian curriculum. Maybe you want change it. Maybe you want add into Indonesian curriculum, especially like the 2013.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Budi, for your great question. Let me try to answer. So, yeah, as we know that the curriculum in Indonesia always change. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, at that time we have curriculum 2004, curriculum KTSP at that time, even
Yes.
curriculum so many curriculums that we have passed, and now we have curriculum 2013, and now we have prototype or freedom learning curriculum. So I think why the government give this curriculum, like I talked before, maybe every era, every has different challenge. Now the challenge not only from the students themselves, but also from the world, the technology. So at that time maybe we didn't have mobile phone, or at that time mobile phone is forbidden when the student bring to the school. But now if the student do not bring the mobile phone, they will left behind from another country. So I hope, alhamdulillah, in my school, I had the school permit the students to bring mobile phone. Now, but we have to take the advantage. So we have to tell to the student, if you bring mobile phone, you must have responsibility. If you don't study, you must keep your mobile phone. And then, so they can do positive thing from mobile phone. And then there are so many interesting games or interesting application that we can use using their mobile phone. So I think it is better to develop our curriculum based on the era. Okay, I think that's all, Mr. Budi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Karwandi. Maybe in the future you can make a curriculum and you give name the Karwandi's curriculum.
Okay, inshallah.
Thank
Thank you so much,
you.
Mr. Budi, for your
Yes.
question, for your good question. I'm really sorry if I have mistake. So I close this presentation by saying Alhamdulillah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.